Hi students, welcome back to my channel. In this episode, we will be working the answers to the practice questions that we did yesterday. So if it is that you did not tune in to us yesterday when we have our live practice session, please go to the previous video and work those questions independently, because in this video here, we will be looking at the answers and how we can solve those questions. So remember that if you have not yet subscribed, go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you are notified whenever we are going live, as well as when we have posted some new content. All right, so let's dive right into this session. So the question that we're working on is, on day one, you are given $100. And for the next 6 days, you receive $260 each day. The next scenario is where on day one, you are given $400, and for the next 6 days, you receive $180 each day. Use that information to answer the following questions. So our first question is, which is the better option? One way that we can solve this is we could create a table to show the amount of money received each day. So here for option one, we have day one, and on day one, we received $100. On day two, we received $260, and we continue to receive $260 on day 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. As it did say, for the next 6 days, we will receive $260. Now, let us look at option 4 in a table. So option two in a table will look like this, where on day one, you receive $400, day 2, you receive $180, day 3, 4, 5, and 6, you also receive $180 each of those days. And if we are supposed to total this, because we must total it so we know which option is the better option. So go ahead, do your sum or your totaling, do your addition of the different amount received in option 1. And when you have done your calculation, you should have $1,660. That was received at the end of this week. And that is for option 1. Let us look at the total that would have been received for option 2 at the end of the 7 days. So go ahead, add your $400 to your $180 to the next $180 and so on until you are at day 7. And after doing your calculation, you should have a total of $1,480. Now, remember that this is money that you're receiving. And of course, you would want to receive the greater amount. So which one would have been the better option? Option 1, you receive $1,660. And option 2, you receive $1,480. Therefore, option 1 would be the better option. All right, so go ahead and make your corrections if needs be. And if you have done it correctly, you can give yourself a little tick. Let us move on to question 2. So here we have a little representation similar to the table of how we can calculate the amount of money received each day. So if we add the $260 to the $100 that we received on day 1, we would have a total of $360 on day 2. And remember, we receive $260 each day. So if we add $260 to $360, we will have $620 on day 3. And if we continue to add $260 to the total that we have on the previous day, we will get the amount that we would have on this present day. So we continued to do that, and on day 7, we had a total of $1,660. For option 2 is quite similar. So we received our $400 on day 1, and each day we receive $180 more. So if we add our $180 to this $400, we will have a total of $580 on day 2. And if we add $180 again to this $580 on day 2, on day 3, we will have $760. And if we continue to add $180 that we would receive each day to the money that we would have on the previous day, then we will get the amount that we will have today, the present day. And at the end of 7 days for option 2, we had a total of $1,480. Now the question asks, on which day are the options the closest? Now, in order to find this out, we must find the difference between the amount of money received on each day from each option. So I have decided that we could represent it like this. And of course, you can represent it however you feel. So on day 1, when I've done the difference of $400 and $100, when I've calculated that, so I said $400 subtract $100 will give me a difference of $300. So the difference on day 1 is $300. And I would have done the same for day 2, $580 subtract $360 to give me $220 for my difference. For day 3, I did the same thing. And if you notice that option 2 for these days to come, or these days that we have been working on, is greater than the amount, the total amount on the different days for option 1. So for day 4, we subtracted $880 from $940, and we have a difference of $60. If you look at day 5, you would realize now that option 1, the total on day 5 for option 1 is now greater than the total for option 2. However, we are going to find the difference of those numbers, so we are going to subtract the smaller number from the larger number. And the difference on day 5 is $20. On day 6, the difference is $100. And on day 7, the difference is $180. Now it asks which day the options became the closest. So what we need to look for is the smallest difference, which will give us the day that the options are the closest. So I have looked at day 1 and I realized that the difference is $300. On day 2, it is $220. On day 3, it is $140. On day 4, it is $60. Day 5, $20. Day 6, $100. And day 7, $180. Therefore, if you look at day 5, you'd realize that is the smallest difference. And so day 5 is the day where the options became the closest. So go ahead and make your corrections if you did not get this one correctly. And if you did, remember, congratulate yourself and give yourself a little tick, or a big tick, rather. So let us go on to question number 3. Question number 3 is where it asks, on which day does the better option becomes more than the other? Now, remember, we would have figured this out from the previous question when we were solving it. So we would need to now look at what is happening with day 1 and day 2 options. And then we will look to see, we realize that in day 1, for option 1, we have the total would be smaller than option 2. For day 2, it's still smaller than option 2. Day 3, it's smaller than option 2. Day 4, it's smaller than option 2. But on day 5, you realize that the total amount is now greater than that of option 2. So our answer would be that on day 5, the better option, and remember, option 1 is our better option, it became more than the other. Go ahead again and make your corrections. All right, let us move on to question 4. Question 4 asks, how much money would you receive on the 7th day for each option? Now we have gone through this already and we have done our totaling. So we just need to go back on our modeling or presentations on our previous responses and identify or circle or highlight or take up the answer, write the answer from those representation to say how much is received on the 7th day or the total amount received on the 7th day for each option. So for option 1, each day you got a total of $260 added to whatever you had the previous day. And for option 2, you get a total of $180 added to what you have on the previous day. And for option 1, the total that you would have on the 7th day is $1,660. And for option 2, the total would be $1,480. So go ahead and give yourself a tick or make your corrections if you need to. And now we are at the 5th question, where it asks us to model the responses for the options using a chart. And I have a grid here because I plan to use a bar graph. So I'm going to use a bar graph where I'll be putting the options on. So I'll be using a double bar graph. But remember, when we're working on charts, when we're creating our charts, there are some important things that must be there. So we definitely need a title. And we need our axes. So we have our axes here, our y-axis going vertically, our x-axis going horizontally, and we have our title. So our title for this would be money received for the week. And you can write this in your own words. But basically what we would be representing here is money received for the week. So that is the title. Now we also need the labels for the different axes. So for this axis here, the x-axis, we want to represent it we want to label it saying days, because down here we're going to represent the days. And over here on our vertical axis, we have money received because we want to put the money that was received here. So let's go ahead and we're going to put the money received. So remember, we're going to start at $0. That would be right here. Then we want to use a scale where we're going up by $200 because we don't want to have our scale too far apart. And if our graph sheet or graph paper can hold it, then we can have nice scaling. So we don't have responses. We have to be looking too deep to see where this amount will be and so on. So we're going to use a scale of 200. So we're going to go up by 200. So here we have $400 for there and $600, $800, all the way up to the top of my graph paper. Now we're going to work on days. So we have day 1, and remember that your bar should be, or your representation, the different bars should be equal space apart. So we have day 2, day 3, all the way up to day 7. And there is something that we need to make note of as well, because we will be representing both data on this graph. We must have a key so persons can know what represents what. So in the key, we have option 1. We're going to represent option 1 with a purple bar and option 2 with a green bar. So go ahead, look back on the data that you have, look back on the information that you have before, so that you are able to fill this chart in correctly. So on day 1, we have $100, and that is half of $200. So our bar would be halfway between this part here. And for option 2, we have $400. For day 2, we have $360 for option 1 and $580 for option 2. And that is how we represent it on our bar graph. On day 3, we have $620 for option 1 and $760 for option 2. And if you note what is happening here, I would have done a little estimation to say, yes, $706 will fall somewhere here, and I come across and I put my bar. For day 4, we have $880 for option 1, and for option 2, we have $940. For day 5, we have $1,140, and on option 2 we have $1,120. And now you would be observing that option 1 has a taller bar, a longer bar than option 2, because this is where on day 5 things kind of start to change. Option 1 started to become more than option 2, and also at the end of all of this, you are better able to see on which day the options were the closest. So on day 6, we have option 1 at $1,400 and option 2 at $1,300. Day 7, which is our final day, we have option 1 at $1,660 and option 2 at $1,480. So if you compare the space or the lengths of the different bars, you'd realize again that it is on day 5 that the options became the closest. Now, students, I am elated to have been explaining all of these things with you. I'm very happy that I'm able to come again and explain this to you. I hope you find it useful, and remember, don't hesitate to share this video with your classmates and your friends who are doing PEP. And once again, don't forget to subscribe, like, leave comments if you are happy with what is happening here. Just leave some comments so I can see some feedback from you. All right. All the best in your PEP exams. Bye-bye.